The Little Lark Sparrow's Song. In a bright meadow full of colorful flowers and tall green grass lived a little lark sparrow named Leela. Every morning, Leela would flap her tiny wings and sing a happy song that floated through the air like soft sunshine. Her song was sweet and cheerful, and all the animals in the meadow loved to listen. But Leela was curious. She wondered what her song truly sounded like to others, and if it could make new friends. One sunny morning, Leela decided to explore the meadow and share her song with everyone she met. She sang as she hopped from a rock to a tree branch, and soon a curious bunny twitched its nose and hopped closer to listen. "Hello, little sparrow. Your song is so bright and happy," said the bunny with a big smile. Leela felt her heart glow with happiness. She sang even louder, hoping to find more friends to share her tune. As Leela continued her adventure, a red squirrel peeked from behind a tree and clapped its tiny paws. "Your song makes the leaves dance," it said with a giggle. Leela giggled too and sang a little faster, making the leaves twirl and swirl around her. Then, a group of yellow butterflies gathered, fluttering in time with her melody. Leela realized that her song was not just a sound, it was magic that brought the meadow to life. Suddenly, Leela heard a soft croak and saw a little green frog sitting by a pond. The frog smiled and said, "Your song makes the water sparkle like stars. Will you sing for me?" Leela perched on a nearby reed and sang the sweetest song she could. The water shimmered and sparkled, and the frog clapped happily. Leela felt proud and joyful. She knew her song was special and could bring happiness to everyone. As the sun began to set, Leela flew back to her favorite tree and sang a gentle lullaby. All her new friends, the bunny, the squirrel, the butterflies, and the frog gathered around to listen. Leela's song was soft and warm, wrapping the meadow in a cozy hug. She had learned that her song was not only beautiful, but also a wonderful way to share joy and friendship. And from that day on, the little lark sparrow sang her heart out every morning, knowing her music could brighten the world. The brave face of Benjamin. Benjamin was a little boy who loved to play, but sometimes he felt shy when he met new friends. One sunny afternoon, while exploring his backyard, he found something sparkling under the big oak tree. It was a magical mask. The mask shimmered with colors of the rainbow and seemed to sparkle with a friendly glow. Curious and excited, Benjamin picked it up and gently placed it on his face. Suddenly, he felt a warm, brave feeling inside him. With the brave mask on, Benjamin felt like he could do anything. He smiled wide and walked over to the garden where his bunny was nibbling on a carrot. "Hello, bunny," he said confidently. The bunny twitched its nose happily and hopped closer. Benjamin giggled as he realized that the mask made him feel bold, but his true bravery was in being kind and friendly to his animal pals. Next, Benjamin decided to climb the big tree with the tire swing. Even though he usually felt scared of heights, the brave mask gave him courage. Up and up he climbed, holding tight to the branches. When he reached the tire swing, he swung high into the air, laughing with joy. The bluebird sang happily from a nearby branch, cheering Benjamin on. It was the most fun adventure Benjamin ever had. As the sun began to set, Benjamin took off the magical mask and looked at his reflection in a little puddle. He smiled because he knew something very important. The brave face was not just the mask, it was inside him all along. Benjamin felt happy and proud to be himself, ready to make new friends with or without the mask. And from that day on, he always remembered that true bravery comes from the heart. The little yellow-eyed Junco's call. In a bright, sunlit forest, there lived a little Junco with the brightest yellow eyes you ever saw. She was smaller than the other birds, but her eyes sparkled like tiny golden stars. Every morning, she would hop from branch to branch, watching the world awake. But the little Junco was shy. She didn't know how to sing like the robins or the finches, so she stayed quiet, listening to the sounds around her. One day, the little Junco heard a soft buzzing sound. It was Bella, the busy bumblebee, humming as she flew from flower to flower. Bella smiled and said, "Why don't you try to sing with me? Your eyes are so bright, your song must be special too." The little Junco thought for a moment and gave a tiny chirp. It wasn't a big song, but it was sweet and gentle, like a secret melody just for her friends. Encouraged by Bella, the little Junco practiced every day. Her chirps grew clearer and happier, and soon she discovered a special call that sounded like a happy whistle. She sang it softly to the rabbits, squirrels, and even the butterflies. Everyone stopped to listen, their faces lighting up with smiles. The forest felt brighter and warmer whenever the little Junco's call floated through the trees. One afternoon, a gentle breeze carried the little Junco's call far across the forest. Even the shyest animals came out to hear her song. The Junco realized that her small, sweet call could bring everyone together. She felt proud and happy, knowing her song was special just like her bright yellow eyes. From that day on, the little Junco sang joyfully every morning, filling the forest with warmth, friendship, and the magic of her wonderful call. The excited little elephant. Once upon a time, in a lush green jungle, there lived an excited little elephant named Ellie. Ellie had the biggest ears you could ever imagine, and they flapped in the breeze whenever she got excited. Today was special because Ellie was going to explore the jungle with her friends. She trumpeted with joy, "Hooray! Let's go on an adventure." As Ellie wandered through the jungle, she met her friend Max, the mischievous monkey. "Let's swing from the trees," Max shouted, jumping from one branch to another. Ellie giggled and tried to jump, but she was much too big. Instead, she encouraged Max, "You go first, I'll watch and cheer." Max swung high and low, making Ellie laugh out loud. After some swinging fun, Ellie and Max came across Tilly, the wise old turtle. Tilly was sunbathing on a rock, enjoying the warm sun. "What a lovely day for an adventure," she said with a smile. Ellie nodded and said, "It is. Join us, Tilly." Tilly chuckled. "Oh, I might be slow, but I can bring my wisdom to your adventure." The three friends continued their journey until they stumbled upon a sparkling river. The water danced under the sunlight, and colorful fish swam happily. "Let's splash!" Ellie exclaimed excitedly. They all jumped into the water, splashing and laughing, creating waves of joy. "This is the best adventure ever," Ellie squealed, her heart full of happiness. As the sun began to set, painting the sky in shades of orange and pink, Ellie realized something important. "The best part of our adventure is sharing it with friends," she said. Max and Tilly nodded in agreement. They all hugged, feeling grateful for their day of fun and laughter. Together, they promised to have more adventures because every day was a chance to share joy. The brave little Kestrel's hunt. Once upon a time, high in the blue sky, lived a brave little Kestrel named Kiki. Kiki loved to soar and swoop through the air, feeling the wind ruffle her feathers. One sunny morning, she woke up with a growling tummy. "Today is the day I will find my first meal," she chirped excitedly. Off she flew, gliding over the sparkling stream and the blooming meadow below. As Kiki soared, she spotted her friend Oliver the wise old owl resting on a tree branch. "Good morning, Kiki. What are you up to?" asked Oliver, his big round eyes sparkling. "I'm on a hunt for my first meal," Kiki replied. "Can you help me?" Oliver thought for a moment and said, "Look for the little critters hiding in the grass. They might be just what you need." With Oliver's advice in her heart, Kiki spotted a flash of movement below. It was Sammy the squirrel. "Hey, Sammy," she called out. "Have you seen any tasty treats around here?" Sammy grinned and pointed with his tiny paw. "The grass is full of crunchy bugs. You just have to look closely." Kiki thanked her friend and flew lower, her eyes scanning the grass. Kiki focused her gaze and spotted a tiny bug hopping in the grass. "There you are," she chirped and swooped down with excitement. With a quick flap of her wings, Kiki caught the bug. She couldn't believe it. She had found her first meal. "Hooray!" she cried, soaring up into the sky. Kiki felt proud and brave, ready for more adventures ahead. Eight Little Frogs' Big Leap. Once upon a time, in a sunny pond, there lived 8 little frogs. They loved to hop, play, and splash in the water. One bright morning, they gathered on a big lily pad, their eyes sparkling with excitement. "Let's make today special," said Freddie, the greenest frog of all. "Let's have a big leap contest." The other frogs cheered, their voices croaking happily in agreement. Each frog took turns practicing their jumps. Benny, the bouncy frog, leaped high into the air and landed with a big splash. Clara, the clever frog, counted 1, 2, 3, jump, as she soared gracefully over the pond. Laughter filled the air as they watched their friends leap and splash. "Let's cheer for each other," croaked Lily, the smallest frog, clapping her tiny hands. Finally, it was time for the big leap. All 8 frogs lined up, their hearts racing with excitement. "On the count of 3, shouted Freddie. 1, 2, 3, jump." They leaped together, soaring through the bright blue sky. For a moment, they felt like they could fly. And then, with a splash, they landed back on the lily pad, giggling and croaking with joy. With smiles and laughter, the 8 little frogs celebrated their amazing leap. "We did it together," croaked Benny. From that day on, they knew they could achieve anything if they worked as a team. As the sun set, they hopped home, dreaming of their next big adventure. And so, the 8 little frogs lived happily, always ready for the next leap. The Journey of Harry and Hannah. One sunny morning, Harry the little hedgehog woke up feeling extra curious. His best friend, Hannah the bright blue bird, chirped happily beside him. "Let's go on an adventure," Hannah said with a flutter of her wings. So off they went, stepping carefully through the soft moss and crunchy leaves of the whispering woods. The trees seemed to sway and hum as if welcoming their brave explorers. Harry and Hannah giggled, excited to see what magical things they might find. As they wandered deeper, they spotted a sparkling stream that twinkled like 1,000 tiny stars. Harry dipped his paw in the cool water while Hannah sang a happy tune. Around the stream, colorful flowers giggled and wiggled their petals when the breeze tickled them. Harry and Hannah laughed and danced with the flowers, feeling the joy of the forest's magic all around them. They knew this was only the start of their wonderful journey. Suddenly, Hannah spotted something amazing, a shining rainbow bridge stretching from one side of the forest to the other. "Look, Harry, let's cross it," she chirped excitedly. Together, they stepped onto the glowing bridge, feeling it shimmer beneath their feet. As they reached the middle, a treasure chest appeared, sparkling with all the colors of the rainbow. Inside, they found friendship bracelets made of twinkling leaves and tiny stars, a special gift to remind them of their magical journey forever. Benny's Big Adventure. Once upon a time, in a cozy little burrow, there lived a curious bunny named Benny. Benny loved to hop around the meadow, exploring and asking questions. One sunny morning, he heard a whisper about magical rainbow berries hidden deep in the enchanted forest. Benny's eyes sparkled with excitement. "I must find those berries," he said, hopping with joy. Benny took a deep breath and bounded into the forest. The trees were tall and the leaves shimmered like jewels. As he hopped along, he met Ollie the wise owl perched on a branch. "Where are you going, little bunny?" Ollie asked. "I'm off to find the magical rainbow berries," Benny replied. "You'll need courage, my friend," said Ollie, flapping his wings wisely. Benny thanked Ollie and continued on his journey. Soon, he met Sammy the squirrel, who was busy gathering acorns. "Hi, Benny. What's your adventure today?" asked Sammy. "I'm searching for rainbow berries," Benny exclaimed. Sammy giggled. "Let's go together. Friends make adventures even better." So they hopped off together, laughing and playing. After a while, they reached a sparkling stream where they spotted Daisy the deer drinking water. "Hello, Benny and Sammy. What brings you here?" Daisy asked. "We're on a quest for magical rainbow berries," they shouted in unison. Daisy smiled. "I'll join you. I know the way." With their hearts full of excitement, the three friends hopped along the stream. Finally, they arrived at a beautiful glade filled with vibrant colors. There, under a giant rainbow tree, were the magical rainbow berries. They glimmered and sparkled like the stars. "We found them!" Benny cheered. The friends danced around the tree, sharing laughter and joy. Together, they picked the berries, knowing this adventure would be a memory to treasure forever. The brave little common redpoll's Crest. In a quiet, snowy forest lived a tiny bird named Ruby. She was a common redpoll, little and lively, with a bright red crest that sparkled like a tiny flame on her head. Every morning, Ruby would flutter from branch to branch, singing cheerful songs and playing with her friends, a fluffy rabbit, a clever squirrel, and a kind little fox. Even though she was the smallest, Ruby's red crest made her stand out like a shining star in the white winter woods. One chilly day, the forest grew very cold, colder than ever before. The wind howled and the snow started to fall heavier. Ruby's friends shivered and couldn't find a warm place to stay. The rabbit's burrow was too cold, and the squirrel's tree was covered in ice. Even the fox looked worried. Ruby looked at her glowing crest and wondered, could my little red crest help keep us warm? She decided to try something brave and new. Ruby flew close to her friends and spread her tiny wings wide. Slowly, her bright red crest began to glow warmer and warmer, shining like a glowing ember. The light from her crest wrapped around her friends like a soft, warm blanket. The rabbit's nose stopped twitching from the cold, the squirrel's fur fluffed up, and the fox smiled with relief. Ruby's brave heart made her crest shine brighter than ever, lighting up the snowy forest with warmth and friendship. From that day on, Ruby's red crest was known as the brave little crest. Whenever cold winds blew and snow covered the forest, Ruby would light the way and warm her friends with her glowing heart. She showed everyone that even the smallest bird can shine the brightest when she's brave and kind. And in the magical winter forest, Ruby's light kept all her friends cozy and happy, no matter how cold the world outside became. The Adventures of Timmy and Tommy. One sunny morning, Timmy and Tommy found a shimmering map tucked inside their toy chest. The map sparkled with stars and showed a path to a secret, magical forest just beyond their backyard. Excited and curious, the two brothers held hands and decided to follow the glowing trail. They packed a small backpack with snacks and set off, their hearts full of wonder and adventure. As Timmy and Tommy stepped into the magical forest, the trees seemed to whisper friendly greetings. Bright flowers bloomed all around, and colorful butterflies danced in the air. Suddenly, a wise owl swooped down and said, "Welcome, little explorers. Follow the sparkling stream to find the hidden waterfall." The boys giggled and followed the owl's advice, their eyes wide with delight. Down the winding path, the brothers met a playful squirrel who challenged them to a game of hide and seek. Timmy counted loudly, while Tommy darted behind bushes and trees. Laughter echoed through the forest as they played together, making a new furry friend. After the game, the squirrel pointed them toward a sparkling waterfall, shimmering like diamonds in the sunlight. The waterfall was even more magical than they imagined. Water droplets sparkled as they fell, and rainbows stretched across the mist. Timmy and Tommy dipped their fingers in the cool water and felt happy and brave. They realized that by exploring together, every moment was filled with magic and joy. Holding hands, they promised to always share adventures side by side. As the sun began to set, Timmy and Tommy followed the golden rays back home, their magical map gently folding itself away. They waved goodbye to their new animal friends and the enchanted forest, feeling proud and excited for the next adventure. Snuggled in bed that night, they dreamed of sparkling streams, friendly owls, and the endless magic of exploring the world together. The Happy Hen's Coop. Henrietta the hen loved her bright, cozy coop on Sunny Farm. Every morning, she sang sweet songs that made the flowers dance and the bees buzz happily. The sun warmed her feathers, and the gentle breeze carried her cheerful tunes all around. Henrietta felt very happy living with her friends and sharing her songs with everyone. One day, while Henrietta was singing, she heard a tiny chirp from behind the barn. Curious, she tiptoed over and found a little lost chick all alone. "Hello there," Henrietta said gently. "Would you like to come to my coop? It's warm and happy here." The chick's eyes sparkled with joy, and it quickly nodded, following Henrietta back to her cozy home. Inside the coop, Henrietta introduced her new friend to the other animals: Molly the cow, Peter the pig, and Sally the sheep. Everyone smiled and welcomed the little chick with happy clucks, moos, oinks, and boss. Together, they made a circle and sang a happy song that filled the coop with warmth and laughter. From that day on, the little chick felt safe and loved in the Happy Hen's coop. Henrietta's songs grew even sweeter, and the friends played under the sunny sky every day. The farm was filled with giggles, chirps, and joyful sounds because friendship made everything better. And Henrietta knew there was nothing happier than sharing her home and heart. The Moon of Imagination. Once upon a time, in a quiet little village, there lived a curious girl named Luna. Every night, she would gaze at the moon, dreaming of all the adventures it could bring. One night, as she looked up, the moon began to shimmer and glow even brighter. "Oh, what if the moon could take me on an adventure?" she wondered, her eyes sparkling with excitement. Suddenly, a soft, fluttering sound caught her attention. Out from the shadows flew Oliver, a wise old owl with sparkling eyes. "Hello, Luna. The Moon of Imagination is waiting for you. Come, let's explore." With a flap of his wings, he invited her to follow him into the magical night. As they soared high into the sky, Luna spotted twinkling stars that danced and played. "Look," squeaked Felix, a playful little fox who joined them. "We can make wishes on the stars. What do you wish for?" Luna closed her eyes tightly and wished for endless adventures and laughter. With each wish, the stars twinkled brighter until they transformed into colorful stories swirling around them. "See those stories?" Oliver hooted. "They are your imagination coming to life." Luna felt a rush of happiness as she danced among the tales of brave knights, silly animals, and faraway lands. As dawn began to break, Luna realized it was time to return home. "Thank you, Oliver and Felix," she said with a big smile. "I will always remember the Moon of Imagination and the adventures we had." With a wave goodbye, she floated back down to her village, her heart filled with dreams and stories to share. The Little Falcon's Dive. Once upon a time, in a bright green forest, there lived a little falcon named Finn. Finn was brave and curious, always dreaming of soaring high in the sky. One sunny morning, as he perched on the tallest tree, he watched the other birds dive and swoop. "I want to dive like them," he chirped excitedly. Finn's friends, Bella the bunny and Toby the turtle, came to cheer him on. "You can do it, Finn," Bella said, hopping up and down. "Just spread your wings and let the wind take you." Toby smiled wisely. "Remember to trust yourself, little Falcon." Finn felt a flutter of excitement in his tummy. Taking a deep breath, Finn spread his wings wide. He looked down at the soft grass below and thought of all the fun he could have. "Here I go," he shouted, and with a brave flap of his wings, he leaped off the branch. Whoosh! Down he went in a fantastic dive, the wind rushing past his feathers. Finn felt free. He twirled and soared, dipping and diving with glee. Bella and Toby watched in awe as their little friend flew like the wind. "You did it, Finn! You're flying!" Bella cheered. Finn laughed, spinning in the air, feeling like the happiest falcon in the world. With a gentle landing, Finn touched down beside his friends. "That was amazing!" he exclaimed. Bella hopped over and hugged him. "You were so brave!" Toby nodded. "You can always dive again, Finn. Just remember, every adventure starts with a leap of faith." Finn smiled, feeling proud and ready for more fun. The Christmas Magic of Max and Mia. Once upon a time, in a warm and cozy house, there lived two curious siblings named Max and Mia. They loved Christmas. One chilly evening, while decorating the Christmas tree, they discovered a magical snow globe hidden under the couch. It sparkled and shimmered, and they could hear soft giggles coming from inside. Max and Mia shared a look of excitement. "What do you think it is?" asked Mia. "Let's find out," replied Max, shaking the globe gently. As soon as they shook the snow globe, a swirl of glittering snowflakes burst out. Suddenly, Max and Mia found themselves in a magical winter wonderland. Everything was covered in fluffy white snow, and the air was filled with the scent of gingerbread cookies. "Wow!" they exclaimed, looking around at the twinkling lights and the joyous snowmen dancing nearby. "This is amazing," said Mia, her eyes sparkling with delight. In the heart of the wonderland, they met a friendly little elf named Jingle. "Welcome," he said with a big smile. "We need your help to spread Christmas cheer. Can you help us share gifts with all the children in the world?" Max and Mia nodded enthusiastically. They filled their arms with colorful presents and followed Jingle as he led them to a magical sleigh. "Let's fly," he cheered. With a whoosh, the sleigh soared into the sky. They flew over rooftops, spreading gifts and laughter everywhere. Max and Mia giggled as they sprinkled magic dust over each home, making sure every child felt the joy of Christmas. "This is the best adventure ever," shouted Max as they zipped through the starry night. Mia smiled and said, "I love sharing happiness." After their wonderful adventure, Jingle brought them back to the living room. The snow globe sparkled once more, and Max and Mia hugged each other tightly. "That was magical," said Mia, "and we learned that the best gift is sharing love and joy with others." Max nodded and added, "Let's always remember to spread Christmas magic." And from that day on, every Christmas was filled with their special magic of kindness and giving. The subway of surprises. Once upon a time, in a bright and bustling city, there lived a little bunny named Benny. Benny loved to hop around and explore, but one day he found a shiny subway entrance that sparkled like magic. What wonders await me down there? He wondered with excitement. Benny hopped into the subway, and as the doors closed, a funny thing happened. The subway train was filled with dancing flowers, swaying to a happy tune. "Welcome, Benny," they sang. "Join us for a ride of surprises." Benny couldn't help but giggle and dance along. Suddenly, the train stopped at the next station. Benny peeked out the window and saw a group of turtles wearing hats, singing a funny song. "Come join us, Benny," they called. Benny hopped out and sang along, feeling the joy of friendship all around him. After the turtles, Benny hopped back on the train, and they zoomed to the next stop. This time, they found a forest filled with playful birds that were painting the trees with bright colors. "Would you like to help us?" they chirped. Benny loved painting and jumped right in. Finally, as the sun began to set, the subway train brought Benny back to his cozy home. He waved goodbye to his new friends and smiled, thinking of all the wonderful surprises he had found. Benny knew he could always return to the subway of surprises anytime he wanted. The Happy Common Raven's Call. In a bright and bustling forest, there lived a happy common raven named Rollo. He wasn't just any raven, his feathers shimmered like little black stars, and his call was full of joy and laughter. Every morning, Rollo would perch high on a tall tree and sing his cheerful song, welcoming the sun and all his forest friends. His voice was so bright and happy that the flowers seemed to bloom brighter, and the butterflies danced higher in the air. One day, as Rollo sang his happy call, he noticed a little squirrel looking worried. The squirrel's acorn had rolled away, and he couldn't find it anywhere. Rollo flapped his wings and called out, "Don't worry, little friend, I'll help you find it." Together, they searched under the leaves and behind the tree roots. Soon, Rollo's cheerful call helped the squirrel spot the shiny acorn hiding near a patch of soft moss. The squirrel giggled with joy and thanked Rollo for his happy help. After that, Rollo's happy call became a special sound in the forest. Whenever an animal felt sad or lost, Rollo would sing his cheerful song to brighten their day. A shy rabbit found courage to hop a little farther, a little bluebird learned a new tune, and even the grumpy old hedgehog cracked a smile. Rollo's happiness was like a magic spark, lighting up the forest and filling all the animals' hearts with joy and friendship. As the sun began to set, painting the sky with pink and orange, Rollo gave one last happy call for the day. His friends gathered around him, feeling warm and happy inside. "Thank you, Rollo," they said. "Your happy call makes our forest the best place to be." Rollo smiled wide and flapped his wings, ready for more joyful adventures tomorrow. And so, the happy common raven's call echoed through the forest, a song of friendship, kindness, and happiness that never ended. The Happy Lamb's Baa. In a sunny meadow filled with colorful flowers and tall green grass lived a happy little lamb named Leela. Every morning, Leela would wake up and let out a cheerful baa. That sounded like a song. Her baa was so bright and joyful that all the animals nearby would stop to listen and smile. Leela loved to baa because it made her feel happy inside and helped her friends feel happy too. One day, as Leela walked through the meadow, she noticed a little rabbit looking sad under a big oak tree. Curious and kind, Leela walked over and gave a gentle baa. To her delight, the rabbit's ears perked up and a small smile appeared. "Your baa makes me feel better," said the rabbit. Leela felt her heart grow warm. She realized her baa was not just a sound, it was a magical way to cheer up her friends. Excited by her new discovery, Leela decided to share her happy baa with everyone. She walked to a sparkling pond where colorful frogs croaked and dragonflies danced. She baaed with all her might, and soon the frogs croaked in harmony, and the dragonflies twirled in delight. All the animals joined in a happy meadow concert filled with laughter, music, and friendship. Leela's baa had brought them all together in a joyful celebration. The friendly blue jay's feather. One sunny morning in the bright green forest, Jumpy the blue jay fluttered happily between the trees. While hopping from branch to branch, Jumpy spotted something sparkling on the soft grass below. It was a beautiful feather, glowing with a shiny blue light. Curious and excited, Jumpy picked up the feather gently in his beak and wondered what magic it might hold. Jumpy decided to share the magical feather with friends to see if it could bring happiness to everyone. First, he flew to Squeaky the squirrel, who was nibbling on a nut. When Squeaky touched the feather, his cheeks puffed out in a big smile, and he started to dance around joyfully. Jumpy chirped happily, knowing the feather was something special. Next, Jumpy brought the feather to Bella the bunny, who was resting near a patch of wildflowers. When Bella gently held the feather, she giggled as soft sparkles floated around her. The bunny hopped up and down with excitement, and Jumpy laughed along, feeling the magic spread like sunshine in the forest. Then they visited Danny the deer, who was quietly drinking from a sparkling stream. Danny touched the feather softly, and suddenly colorful butterflies appeared, fluttering all around. Danny's eyes sparkled with wonder, and everyone clapped their paws, wings, and hooves in excitement. The magic was truly spreading everywhere. Finally, the friends gathered together, holding the magical feather high. They realized that the feather's true magic was in sharing kindness and happiness with each other. From that day on, the forest was filled with laughter, dancing, and sparkle, all because a friendly blue jay found a special feather and shared it with friends. The Orchestra of Open-Mindedness. Once upon a time, in a colorful forest where the leaves shimmered like rainbows, a clever fox named Felix decided to start a very special orchestra. But this was no ordinary orchestra. Felix invited all his friends, big and small, furry and feathered, to play music together. Each animal had a unique sound and a different instrument, from the tiny drum played by the bouncy rabbit to the gentle flute of the slow-moving turtle. Felix believed that when everyone shared their own music, something magical would happen. At first, the animals tried to play their instruments all at once, and oh, it was a funny jumble of sounds. The squirrel's tiny piano keys clicked quickly, the bird's clear song soared high, and the drumbeat hopped happily along. But the music was a little messy. Felix smiled and said, "Let's listen to each other and try playing together, one by one." So the friends took turns, learning how to blend their sounds like a big, beautiful rainbow of music. As days went by, the Orchestra of Open-Mindedness grew stronger. Every animal listened closely, sharing ideas and trying new tunes. The shy turtle even found courage to play a soft melody that made everyone feel calm and happy. The bird added bright, joyful songs, and the fox's violin tied all the sounds into one sparkling song. Their music told a story of friendship, kindness, and the magic of trying new things together. One sunny morning, the orchestra played their happiest song for all the forest creatures. The music floated through the trees, inviting everyone to join. Soon, even the shyest animals came forward, bringing their own sounds and smiles. Felix twirled with joy, knowing that being open-minded, ready to listen, learn, and share, made their orchestra the most magical music anyone had ever heard. And from that day on, the forest was filled with songs of friendship and wonder forever and ever. The happy hummingbird's wings. Once upon a time, in a garden bursting with colors, lived a cheerful little hummingbird named Bella. Bella had the most beautiful wings that sparkled like diamonds in the sunlight. Every morning, she would flap her wings and zoom around the garden, spreading happiness wherever she went. "Look at me," she would chirp, twirling through the air. The flowers danced with joy, and the trees swayed as Bella brought smiles to everyone she met. One sunny day, Bella spotted her friend Benny the bunny looking sad under a big, shady tree. "What's wrong, Benny?" she asked, flapping her wings gently. Benny sighed, "I can't hop as high as I want, and it makes me feel blue." Bella thought for a moment and said, "Let's have a hopping party. I can help you up high." Benny's ears perked up with excitement. He loved parties, especially with his best friend. Bella flew up high, calling all her garden friends to join the fun. She zipped through the flowers, inviting everyone to hop and dance. With each flap of her wings, a sprinkle of magic dust fell down, making everyone feel light and happy. Soon, Benny was hopping higher than ever, giggling and laughing. The garden was filled with joy as they danced together under the sparkling sun. As the sun began to set, painting the sky with orange and pink, Bella and her friends gathered around to share their favorite moments from the hopping party. "Thank you for making me feel happy, Bella," Benny said with a big smile. Bella flapped her wings proudly, realizing that her happiness spread like the colors of the rainbow. And from that day on, Bella knew that her wings were not just beautiful, they were magic wings that brought friends together. The friendly meadowlark's melody. In a sunny meadow full of bright flowers and soft green grass lived a little meadowlark named Melody. She had the sweetest voice that sounded like sunshine and happiness. Every morning, Melody would perch on a tall twig and sing a cheerful song that made all the animals smile. The bunnies would wiggle their noses, the butterflies would flutter their wings, and even the sleepy squirrels would stop to listen. Melody loved sharing her melody because it made the meadow feel like a happy place for everyone. One day, a gentle breeze picked up Melody's song and carried it all across the meadow. The animals who were far away heard the happy tune and started to follow the sound. Little by little, the meadow filled with friends who wanted to sing and dance together. They hopped, twirled, and laughed as Melody's melody made their hearts feel warm and light. Even the shyest animals found courage to join the fun because the music made everyone feel like one big family. As the day went on, Melody's song grew even more magical. Her melody filled the meadow with happiness so bright that even the flowers seemed to dance in the breeze. Everyone sang together, their voices blending like a sparkling rainbow in the sky. When the sun started to set, the friends sat together, feeling happy and cozy, thankful for the lovely day. Melody chirped softly one last time, promising to sing again tomorrow and bring the meadow alive with her friendly melody. Sharing is caring with Lily and Leah. Once upon a sunny day, in a cheerful little park, there lived a girl named Lily. She had a best friend named Leo, who was a big, fluffy lion. They loved to play together. But sometimes, Lily would keep her toys all to herself. One day, while playing with her red ball, she noticed Leo looking a bit sad. "What's wrong, Leo?" she asked. "I wish I could play with the ball too," Leo sighed. Lily thought for a moment and then had a brilliant idea. "How about we share the ball? We can play together." Leo's eyes sparkled with joy. "Really? That sounds fun." Lily smiled and rolled the ball to Leo. As they played, they laughed and ran around together, kicking the ball back and forth. Soon, other friends joined in and they all shared their toys. They had so much fun. Lily realized that sharing made playtime even better. She said, "Sharing is caring." From that day on, Lily and Leo always shared their toys. They learned that sharing brought them closer and made their adventures even more exciting. And whenever they played, they remembered that sharing is truly caring. The Friendly Dragon's Den. Once upon a time, in a colorful forest full of bright flowers and tall trees, there lived a friendly dragon named Dazzle. Dazzle had sparkling green and blue scales that shone like jewels in the sun. He loved to make new friends. Every day, he would fly around the forest, smiling and waving at all the animals. "Hello, little friends," he would call out with a cheerful roar. One sunny morning, Dazzle had a wonderful idea. "I will throw a surprise party for all my forest friends." He flapped his big wings and zoomed to his den, where he had a special surprise waiting. He filled the den with colorful balloons, bright streamers, and a giant cake covered in frosting and sprinkles. "This will be the best party ever," he giggled excitedly. When all the forest animals received their invitations, they were thrilled. The rabbit hopped with joy, the squirrel chattered excitedly, the wise old owl flapped his wings in delight, and even the shy deer smiled. They all rushed to Dazzle's den, eager to celebrate together. Dazzle's heart filled with happiness seeing his friends gather. Finally, the party began. Dazzle led the animals in fun games like Pin the Tail on the Dragon and Musical Leaves. Everyone laughed and played until their hearts were full of happiness. Then it was time for the cake. Dazzle took a big breath and blew out the candles, and the forest echoed with cheers. "Hooray for friendship!" they all shouted. As the sun began to set, Dazzle and his friends sat together, sharing stories and laughter. They realized that the best part of the day was not just the cake or the games, but being together and celebrating their friendship. Dazzle smiled, knowing his heart was filled with love. "Thank you for being my friends," he said with a warm glow. The happy walrus's tusk. Deep beneath the sparkling waves lived Wally, the happiest walrus in the whole ocean. Wally had a big, shiny tusk that gleamed like the moon on a clear night. Every morning, he would swim through the coral gardens, waving his flippers and spreading smiles to all his sea friends. One day, Wally noticed something unusual. Whenever he smiled and showed his tusk, tiny bubbles filled with sparkling light floated all around him, making everyone giggle and feel happy too. Curious about his magical tusk, Wally decided to explore the ocean to see what else it could do. As he swam past a shy crab hiding under a rock, Wally grinned wide and showed his sparkling tusk. To the crab's surprise, the bubbles danced right into his little claw, tickling him and making him laugh out loud. Wally's heart swelled with happiness. His tusk wasn't just shiny. It could spread joy wherever he went. As Wally continued his adventure, he found a sleepy sea turtle resting on the sandy ocean floor. Wally showed his tusk once more, and the bubbles gently floated down, tickling the turtle's shell and waking him up with a happy smile. Soon, more ocean friends joined in: colorful fish, a dancing starfish, and even a curious octopus. Together, they played in the glowing bubbles, sharing laughter and light in the deep blue sea. As the sun began to set, casting golden rays across the water, Wally realized that his tusk's magic wasn't just in its shine. It was in the happiness he shared with his friends. With a big, grateful smile, Wally swam back home, his heart full of joy and his tusk sparkling brighter than ever. And from that day on, whenever anyone in the ocean felt sad, all they had to do was look for Wally's happy tusk to feel the magic of friendship and laughter. The Winter Wonderland of William and Wendy. One chilly morning, William and Wendy woke up to find their backyard sparkling with fresh, fluffy snow. The world looked like a shiny white blanket, inviting them to explore. They bundled up in their warmest clothes, with scarves wrapped snugly and mittens ready for adventure. As they stepped outside, the snow crunched beneath their boots, and the air tingled with magic. Suddenly, a little snow bunny with twinkling eyes hopped out to greet them, its fur shimmering like tiny diamonds. Excited, William and Wendy followed the snow bunny across the snowy field. It led them to a hill that gleamed with icy crystals, perfect for sliding. They took turns zooming down the hill, laughing as the cold wind tickled their faces. Nearby, A friendly snow owl with sparkling feathers watched over them, hooting softly. The children built a snow fort together, stacking snow bricks carefully while the snow bunny and owl cheered them on. Their fort shimmered in the sunlight, a castle made of snow and friendship. As the sun began to set, painting the sky with pink and orange hues, William and Wendy snuggled inside their snow fort. The snow bunny curled up beside them, and the snow owl perched close by. They felt warm and happy, knowing they had found a winter wonderland full of magic and new friends. With sleepy smiles, they promised to return to their snowy playground again soon, ready for more adventures in the sparkling world they had discovered together. Seven Little Sailors' Big Voyage. One bright morning, 7 little sailors climbed aboard their shiny sailboat, ready for a big voyage across the sparkling sea. Each sailor wore a colorful hat and a big smile. As the sails caught the breeze, the boat gently rocked, and the little sailors waved goodbye to the shore, excited to discover new friends and magical places beyond the waves. Suddenly, a group of playful dolphins appeared, leaping through the water beside the boat. The sailors laughed and clapped as the dolphins twirled and splashed, inviting them to follow along. The little sailors sang a happy song as they sailed together, feeling the cool splash of sea spray and the warm sun on their faces. As the day went on, colorful fish peeked up from the deep blue sea, flashing their shiny scales like underwater rainbows. The sailors leaned over the edge, fascinated by the glittering colors and tiny bubbles. They imagined the fish telling stories of secret coral castles and hidden treasures beneath the waves. Just when the sun began to dip low, a big, gentle whale surfaced nearby, blowing a tall spray of water into the air. The sailors gasped in awe and waved hello. The whale seemed to smile back, and the sailors felt a warm friendship grow between them. They knew this voyage was full of magical moments and new friends to cherish forever. As night fell, the sailors gathered under a big starry sky, cozy and happy on their little boat. They shared stories about their day and dreamed of new adventures waiting just beyond the horizon. The sea whispered softly around them, singing a lullaby of waves and wonder, promising more journeys to come. The little clay-colored sparrow's chirp. In a cozy forest filled with tall green trees and colorful flowers, there lived a little clay-colored sparrow named Pip. Pip was very small and had soft brown feathers that blended perfectly with the tree bark. But while all the other birds sang loud and bright songs every morning, Pip felt shy and quiet. "I don't know how to sing like they do," he whispered to himself, watching his friends chirp happily from branch to branch. One sunny day, as Pip sat quietly on a twig, a little blue butterfly fluttered by and stopped beside him. "Why don't you sing, Pip?" asked the butterfly with a smile. Pip shook his head softly. "I'm too small, and my chirp is barely a whisper." The butterfly giggled, but sometimes even a tiny chirp can make a big difference. Curious, Pip decided to try a little chirp just for fun. Pip took a deep breath and let out a small, soft chirp. At first, nothing happened. Then a curious rabbit perked up its ears and hopped closer. "That's a lovely sound," the rabbit said with a smile. Soon, a playful squirrel and a wise old owl joined, all enchanted by Pip's gentle chirp. The forest seemed to listen quietly, and Pip felt his little heart fill with joy. He chirped again, louder this time, and the animals all cheered happily. From that day on, Pip chirped every morning, sharing his sweet, gentle song with all his friends. He learned that even the smallest voice can brighten the whole forest and bring smiles to everyone's faces. And Pip wasn't shy anymore. He was proud to be the little clay-colored sparrow with the special chirp that made the forest happy. The friendly purple finch's plume. One bright morning, Pippa the purple finch fluttered happily through the forest. Her feathers shone with a gentle purple glow, but today something special happened. As she hopped onto a soft, mossy branch, she found a beautiful purple plume shimmering under the sunlight. Curious and excited, Pippa picked up the plume and felt a warm, magical tingle spread through her wings. Pippa quickly noticed that when she held the plume, her feathers sparkled brighter and even changed colors like a rainbow. She chirped happily and flew down to show her friends. The playful squirrel, the gentle rabbit, and the fluttering butterfly gathered around, their eyes shining with wonder. Together, they imagined all the fun they could have with the magical plume's sparkle. With a gentle puff of air, Pippa sprinkled some of the plume's sparkle over the forest floor. Instantly, little flowers began to twinkle like stars, and the trees seemed to hum a happy song. All the animals clapped and laughed, feeling the magic of friendship and fun spreading everywhere. From that day on, Pippa and her friends knew that sharing kindness made their world shine brighter than any plume could. The little pigeon's coop. Once upon a time, in a cozy little town, there lived a curious little pigeon named Pip. Pip had a lovely coop, painted bright yellow, with a tiny window where sunshine danced inside. Every morning, she fluffed her feathers and looked out to see the world. "Oh, what wonders await me today?" she would chirp excitedly. Her heart fluttered with joy as she dreamed of adventures beyond her little coop. One sunny day, Pip decided it was time to explore. She called her friends, Benny the rabbit and Sammy the squirrel. "Let's go on an adventure," she chirped. Together, they hopped and scampered to the big oak tree nearby. It was the tallest tree in the town, and Pip's heart raced with excitement. "What do you think we'll find up there?" asked Benny, twitching his nose. With a flap of her wings, Pip soared up the tree. "Follow me," she called. Benny hopped up the trunk and Sammy scampered up the branches. They reached a cozy branch with a perfect view of the town below. Suddenly, they spotted a rainbow stretching across the sky. "Look, it's magical," Pip exclaimed. They laughed and danced on the branch, feeling as if they were on top of the world. As they enjoyed the rainbow, Pip had an idea. "Let's chase the rainbow," she said. Down they went, racing through the trees and over the fields. They laughed, fluttered, and hopped, not stopping until they reached the end of the rainbow. There, they found a shimmering treasure of colorful stones. "These are beautiful," Sammy said, his eyes wide with wonder. With their treasure in tow, the friends returned to Pip's cozy coop. They knew that adventures were even better when shared with friends. That night, they placed the colorful stones in the coop and promised to have many more adventures together. And as Pip snuggled in her cozy nest, she smiled, dreaming of all the wonderful things tomorrow would bring. The delicious day of Diego and Diana. Once upon a time, in a land where candy trees grew and chocolate rivers flowed, lived two siblings named Diego and Diana. They woke up one sunny morning, their tummies rumbling with excitement. "Today is a delicious day," shouted Diego, and Diana danced around the room, clapping her hands. They decided to explore their magical world, where every step was a new adventure filled with yummy treats. As they ventured outside, they discovered candy clouds floating in the sky. "Can we jump on them?" Diana asked with wide eyes. They bounced on the candy clouds, giggling as they leaped from one fluffy treat to another. With each jump, they soared higher and higher, tasting the sweet, sugary fluff. "This is the best day ever," Diego exclaimed, his face covered in sticky sweetness. Next, they stumbled upon a chocolate river. "Look," Diana pointed excitedly. They dipped their fingers into the river and tasted the rich chocolate. It's so good." Together, they made chocolate boats out of leaves and floated them down the river, laughing as they raced them against each other. They shared their chocolate treasures and promised to always share their treats. As the sun began to set, they found a giant cupcake hill. They climbed to the top and spotted a rainbow of candies waiting below. Diego and Diana shared the candies with their friends, who joined them for a sweet picnic under the candy trees. They laughed, played, and enjoyed the delicious treats together, knowing that the best part of the day was sharing it with friends.